Welcome to Champo. This challenge is a 5-year experiment to see if you can go from the Championship to the Champions League in just 5 years. Today we are using Wrexham, a team promoted to the Championship in the 24-25 season. This summer they have a net spend higher than clubs like Dortmund and Barcelona, bringing in quality players like Callum Doyle and many more. The main challenge of the whole rebuild is to get Wrexham into that Champions League. So let's get into season 1 and let's see how we can get on with this new Wrexham side. Okay boys, welcome to the Wrexham Challenge, Champo to Champo. I'm very excited to get this one going today. 5 seasons full of money being spent, obviously with the rich owners, with Ryan Reynolds. We're going to be spending a lot of money on this rebuild, trying to take Wrexham from the Championship to the Champions League. Now, before we start this rebuild, I think we should get a bit of a background on Wrexham, as recently, obviously, they've come into the light with the documentary and all of these great things, but it's not always been simple for Wrexham. If we look at the bottom here into the league history, since 2002, Wrexham have been between League 2, League 1, League 2, League 1, into the National League, back up to League 1, back up to League 2. They've been bouncing up and down for over 20 to 25 years. But today, and this season, in 25-26, Wrexham have finally made it to the Championship, the second highest league in English football. It's the highest they've ever been, and it's time they got an elite manager. I'm going to take these to the Champions League. Let me show you Season 1's transfers. As you can see for Season 1, the highlighted players are the players that have actually moved in real life to the club. So we've got likes of Ryan Hardy, Connor Cody, Josh Windass, Lewis O'Brien, Callum Doyle, the biggest player here. This is actually, for a bit of lore for you boys watching, you know, me and Callum Doyle grew up together. I used to play football with him on the street and stuff like that. So we're practically boys. So Callum will be featuring a lot throughout this rebuild. I will say he actually is the star man. Without actual bias, he is probably the most exciting player to come into Wrexham this summer. Of course, you've got Premier League talents like Lewis O'Brien coming in from Forest as well, alongside a Kiefer Moore, again, Premier League talent. So we've got a lot of interesting players coming into the club, a lot of different dynamics. You've got some players from the Championship, some from the Premier League, some youngsters like Callum Doyle. But my own signing that I made personally this summer was just a loan signing of Calvin Ramsey at right back. Wrexham don't have a lot of great right backs, and I also didn't want to go into the market and just spend another 30 to 40 million, because I think this summer it's reported they've already spent, like I said in the intro, like 30 million, a higher net spend than Dortmund, Barcelona. So I don't want to just throw loads and loads of money at it straight away. So I just thought we'd bring in a loan in Calvin Ramsey. But for Season 1, boys, this is how we are lining up. We're going to go with a 4-2-4. I wanted to try and get some of the new players into the team. So we've got Nathan Broadhead off that left-hand side, Kiefer Moore going up top in the target forward role that he loves. And of course, we're going to be locking in Callum Doyle at the back. A lot of potential, a 21-year-old English centre-back. If I was to quick pick the best 11 without restriction, this is what we'd be looking at in the Season 1. Ramsey goes into right-back, who we've just signed. Cody alongside Doyle, a mix of experience and youth. Casais at left-back is actually quite a good full-back for the Championship level, so I'm excited to see how he does. But this is the Season 1 team, boys. As you know, we are in the Championship. And if we look at our season preview for the Championship, we're looking at 8th place, which, to be honest, is quite high up, really. I know there's been a big net spend, but obviously it's the first time in this league with Wrexham. You've got the teams that have just come down from the Premier League in Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton, which are always difficult to beat. But let's get into Season 1. Do we go up? Do we stay down? Do we need another year to invest and develop? Or can we go straight to the Premier League? Let's get simulated. Right, boys, welcome back to the end of Season 1, and it is a playoff victory for Wrexham FC. We do it by the skin of our teeth. We only just qualified for the playoffs as well by 5 points. If we look at the league stats, though, and the goals and some of the ratings, we had Josh Windass and Kiefer Moore getting 27 and 26 goals. In the assists, we have Nathan Broadhead and Kiefer Moore as well, doing very well this season. Kiefer Moore in the Championship getting 16 assists and 26 goals is probably the standout performer. If we look at the league stats, we were the league's highest goal scorers with 106 goals, which makes you think it's actually quite harsh that we only finished 6th in the league. To be the top scorers and only just make the playoffs is quite interesting. But I think where that shows is that in the fewest conceded, QPR in 8th with 63, and we're not even in there. So clearly at the back, we were a nightmare, which is quite surprising with Connor Cody, Callum Doyle. I didn't really expect that. If we look at the other competitions as well, we actually managed a cup run this season, which again may have hindered our Championship performance. But we got to the quarterfinals against Watford, where we lost at home 1-0, which, if I'm looking at other teams, you know, the City still in it, Liverpool, Bristol, we could have probably beat Bristol, but to go out to Watford, it's quite disappointed. The semi-finals were then played between Bristol and Watford, where Watford did beat Bristol. So we could have had an FA Cup final. Granted, it would have been City in the final, final, but we could have actually gone to Wembley in season 1. In the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out by Norwich as well in the second round, is what it is. If we dive deeper into the squad though, boys, Josh Windass and Kiefer Moore. What a partnership that was this season. 32 and 33 years of age, scoring bags of goals, plenty of assists. But shout out to the other boys in the team. Jay Rodriguez at 36, getting a decent amount of goals and assists. Paul Mullin was actually out on loan this season and did well. Ryan Longman, Nathan Broadhead, players doing very well in their average ratings as well. Kiefer Moore, we've got Casase at left back with a 7.1, Nathan Broadhead. We've got Lewis O'Brien with a 6.99, George Thompson. The team actually performed pretty well. What we need to look at though, I think definitely next season in the Premier League. Danny Ward was in net for us this season. If we have a look at the bottom here, 49 appearances in the Championship, 76 conceded. That needs to be dealt with next season. He cannot be my number one. And to help deal with him, we have got a budget of 24 million with a 200k wage going into the Championship, boys. Like I said, Wrexham are a club known for its spending, so we're going to go spend some money. We are going to try and keep a lot of that core squad, but we all know, boys, the Premier League is a different beast within itself. Season 2, we will be in the Premier League. Let's see how we can spend this money in Championship to Championship. That season 2 window, boys, let me tell you something. I was looking left, right and centre for talent and players and to spend money. Nobody wants to join Wrexham. I don't know if it's because they're involved with Disney. I don't know if it's because the owners are American and we don't like Yanks in this country, really. I don't know what it is, but that was a very tough transfer window. There's actually not as much spending as you think. Let me show you what we've done. Welcome to season 2's transfer, boys, and obviously now you're probably looking and seeing 8.75 million spent, but I actually think the players we brought in were higher quality than what we actually spent this summer. First off, we've got the boom in Mateta. 3 booms on the corner flag. Shout out Mateta. He comes in, 6'4" striker. Obviously one of the most informed strikers in the Premier League in real life for Palace. He's an absolute menace. I don't think his attributes are reflected as much on FM24, but I think next year on FM26, this guy's going to be amazing. And he's still quite decent now. Good jumping, reach and strength. A bit of a better target forward than Kiefer Moore. Coming in as well on a free transfer was Axel Twanzebe over from Burnley, the former Carrington man. Again, a decent centre-back, kind of a similar ability to Doyle and Cody. Not much of an upgrade, but I think just a steady Eddie in the back four. He's 6'1". He's kind of just decent everywhere, really. A very average Premier League centre-back. The first actual player we spent money on, though, was Ethan Laird at right-back. Of course, last year we had Connor Bradley on loan. We couldn't bring in anyone better than Ethan Laird at right-back, which shows the quality of what we were dealing with in the transfer market. But Ethan Laird comes in for 4 million. At least he's got a bit of pace, a bit of technical ability. He might be a bit of a liability this season. We're going to have to hope a lot of attacks don't go down his side. But we couldn't get anyone else better in, and we needed a right-back. Coming in on another free transfer as well was Louis Coyle. He's just a squad player this season, boys, for left-back and right-back. Nothing more, nothing less. But the biggest signing of this window was a loan move for Benjamin Sesko. He was out of favour at Manchester United, only making 1 appearance for them last season. I will take you in and you will score me goals. Sesko and Mateta up front were going for physicality. Another free transfer we brought in was actually a great Spaniard in Carlos Fernandez. Never heard of the bloke before, which is incredible how on FM you can still be 2 years into a game cycle and sign players you've never seen before. But Fernandez comes in, he's just kind of all-rounded everywhere. A lot of 14s, can play up front, can play the number 10. He's got a very high value as well, so if we choose to sell him next season, we could get a bit of moolah in. Shout out Zims. Another transfer we brought in, boys, was the goalkeeper. I know you're probably looking at this goalkeeper and thinking, this guy stinks like the guy off SpongeBob when he's in the Krabby Patty and they're doing the stand-up comedy night with SpongeBob. Tidges, play the clip. What? But Mateus comes in. I mean, look, one-on-ones 15, aerial reach 16, decent reflexes, decisions, positioning. It might be a tough season in goal again. It might be a Danny Ward V2, but we're just going to have to pray and hope. And then finally, boys, the last signing coming in was Alfred Duncan, a star midfielder in our team. A ball winner. He is 33 years old, but with a high natural fitness and decent stamina, I think he can do us a season. He's going to come in and try and break up play in the midfield. But as you can see on the right, boys, I did say I'm going to try and keep a lot of this core squad, and I did. There weren't any transfers out this season. We're keeping a lot of players, of course. A lot of players who weren't up to the Premier League quality did leave on a free, but the likes of Kiefer Moore, Callum Doyle, Broadhead, these players from the Championship who are heroes, they are staying with us for season 2. And in season 2 we are having a tactic change. I am going 5 at the back. Listen, I am not naive to this Premier League. I've done this on stream, I've done it on rebuilds. I am not naive to how difficult this league can be. We are going with a 5-2-1-2. Sesko, Laird and Mateus are getting locked in the team. If I was to pick the best team by right, 11. This is what we are looking at this season. Fernandez and Sesko up front with Broadhead in behind. Duncan and O'Brien. Laird, Casase, Doyle, Twanzebe, Cody, and Ward somehow does go in net. That's why Mateus is locked in. But if I'm looking at that front three, to be fair, I'm looking at Broadhead in the number 10. I think he's a quality player, 16 vision. He's got a pass in him. Fernandez and Sesko up front. I think we've got an outsider's chance of staying up. It's going to be difficult, do not get me wrong. I'm not underestimating this Premier League. And if we do look at our season preview, they might put us dead last, but we are Welsh. We love sheep. We spell our towns weird, and we're going to stay up in season 2. Let's see how we do. Right, lads, it's the end of season 2, and we're not in that top 15, and we're not in that top 16, but we're in the top 17. Wah! Up the Welsh, up the sheep, up the Gareth Bale. We survive in 17th. Now, if you actually look at the rest of the table, it was very, very close. It might have even come down to the last day. If we look at our league positions, you know, throughout the season, we were actually mid-table, 13, 14 for a lot of the season. And then towards the end, 16, 17, 17, 18th. We were even 20th at one point, apparently. We were having an absolute nightmare. But by some skin of our teeth, we survive in 17th. If we look at the schedule for the end of the season, it is an absolute miracle that we are still in this job. It's actually hilarious that since the new year, the only game we actually won was Liverpool at home. I don't even know how that's possible. But yeah, we just got absolutely worked. I mean, a draw to Wolves was decent. They were in relegation zones. I mean, we just got worked at home here. Jacob Ramsey did us in the 95th. That's tough. But Everton are 6-2. Palace beating us 1-0. Burnley even beating us at home. I mean, Burnley have somehow... How have Burnley got merit... I don't even know what to say. The best player I could get in was Ethan Laird, and these lot are cutting about with Laporte. That's what But look, somehow, some way, we did it. That last point on the last game of the season to Leicester kept us in the Premier League. I mean, if we look at the Premier Division, I don't expect to have anyone in any stats. No, we don't. If we look at any of the stats, most goals, we ain't there. Fewest conceded, we ain't there. Are we in any of these fields? I don't think we will be. Oh, 7th most tackles won. We'll take it. We fought this season. That is an important stat. That's an underlying stat. And we weren't the clean sheets. That's not a surprise, is it, after that holding 6 to Everton? If we look at the squad for the season, goals, assists, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know it's bad when Elliot Lee was getting games in the Premier League. Sesko on loan, look, 14 goals from the boy, clearly doing decent. I mean, 14 goals for a team that literally could not score a goal. Fair play. Kiefer Moore, Carlos Fernandez, Doyle did okay at the back. Mateus in goal, conceded 69 in 32. Baby, lock them doors and turn them lights down low. I'm joking. I don't touch him and I play FM every day. I mean, next season, something to be optimistic about, lads, is a £79 million budget. Ryan Reynolds has seen the absolute carnage that has gone on in Wales this season and thought, what do I do when I want to get a team playing well? That's right, I throw money at it. So we have got a lot of money this season, 80 million. Look, this is going to have to be a transfer window of the ages. This is going to be like when the meteor struck Earth and dinosaurs got wiped out. This team is about to get annihilated. Let's go spend £80 million. Right, boys, welcome back to Season 3. Now, in this season, I have signed a new wonder kid in the updated database. And what this man goes on to do is incredible. That man in question is Boo Adit. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this guy in real life, but he's a deep-lying playmaker type midfielder. He's 6'2". He's very physical. He's got 18 jumping reach, and he is an amazing midfielder in this updated database. I'm excited to see if he's in the new FM. He cost us 25 million. Coming in as well on a free was Todd Cantwell, a player who can play pretty much every position in that midfield or advanced midfield. He comes in, very creative player. He's a bit of a Blackburn legend as well. Blackburn's actually my second team that I support. So when I saw Todd on a free, I had to bring him in. We brought in Harwood Bellis as well for 12 million. A bit of a better centre-back at the back, more of a modern-day centre-back who can play a bit on the ball. He's going to come in at centre-back, but can cover right-back too. Jorgen Strand Larsen comes in as well, a bit like a Sesko-type player for 17 million pounds. I'm hoping he can do well. He's got very similar attributes to the likes of Sesko, so I'm hoping we can literally just recreate that striker that we had on loan into a permanent in Strand Larsen. In net, we've actually signed the new Man United goalkeeper, Sen Lammens. Obviously, he's just joined Man United in real life. We're yet to see, obviously, we're in the international break when I'm recording this video, what he is about. So hopefully on FM, we can have a little experiment with him now in this season and see if he's any good and if he's going to be good for Man United. Because if he's good on my Wrexham rebuild in Season 3, that means he's going to be a good Premier League keeper IRL. That's exactly how it works. We've brought in this lad, Alvaro Nunes, for 5 million as well. At right back, he looks a little bit better than Ethan Laird, doesn't he? Pacey, good on the ball, good mentals. He's just an all-round decent right back. Never heard of him before. Hoping he can play play well. We've also brought in a left back in Rıdvan Yılmaz, the Turkish man from Rangers. I feel like a lot of guys sign this guy on FM because he's like that mid-range left back. He's quite good, to be fair. Technique, work rate, pace, mentals and technicals are well-rounded too. For £5 million as well, we bring in a new CDM in Nuis. He is a beast. He's 6'5", German, 90 kg nearly in weight. He's just going to be an absolute brute in the CDM. He's going to be like a boomer off Left 4 Dead 2, just dead wide and girthy. And then the final signing, boys, was Ramon Enriquez. Now, this guy is actually not playing centre mid. He is playing on the right mid, and that is because this season we are going for a 4-4-1-1 type system. We're going to be playing two defensive wingers. As you can see from the team, we're locking in a lot of players here. There is 6 players locked in this season, but Buade in that DLP, I want to make sure he improves. Nuis is a key player for me this season with that physicality. I want him in there. And the two defensive wingers, I want Yilmaz and Enriquez, two players who are technical enough and defensive enough to play that defensive winger role. If we were to pick without restriction at the best 11, this is how the team would look like. So as you can see, Buade goes out with the team, but Cantwell goes in, Fernandez goes in up front, Doyle and Harwood Bellis would be at the back with Nunes, the new right back, Casais, who's been here since season 1, who I think in this best 11 is the only surviving member of that Wrexham team in the Championship, which is a credit to how good he is at left back, to be fair. He actually is a very good fullback. But in the Prem this season, on our season preview, we are still favourites to finish 20th, 900 to 1, which I think is quite harsh. I mean, the team we've got now, I think there's quite a lot of good players in Yilmaz, Nuaus, Cantwell, Mateta's still here, Doyle. But what this means, boys, is that we need to prove this Premier League wrong. Season 3, the middle part of this rebuild. And if you've got to the part of this rebuild and you are not subscribed, can you please click the subscribe button? We're trying to get to 15k subscribers. I think it's over 60% of the people who watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. So please, if you could do something for me, leave a like on the video, click subscribe. I don't try and shove it down your throat all the time, but please help a buy out before FM26. And let's get into season 3. Right, boys, welcome back to season 3, and there's probably a lot of you giggling at your screen right now how I'm doing a Champo to Champo type rebuild, trying to go from the Championship to the Champions League, and at the end of season 3 we're not even the top 15 in the Premier League. But just know, a lot can change in one season. It is a process. Going from a Championship club to a Champions League club, it might take us this full 5 years. But if we scroll down again in season 3, we ain't 16th. Aston Villa are 16th on 40 points. That means that if we are not 17th, we are going back down to the Championship. But we are 17th. I ain't going back down to that slum of a league. 39 points. If we click on the league table for this season, we do get 39 points now. Even though we are 17th like last season, we have gained 10 more points in the Premier League. And if we had one more win in the Premier League this season based on everyone else's results, we would have been 14th in the table. So really, it's not as bad as it looks. A very interesting thing from this season is that Norwich have gone down but got Champions League football. I have actually never seen that before on one of my own saves. That is mad. But anyway, boys, we finished 17th this season. If I'm looking at the stats on the right, we don't have any players in there again. It must just be another mediocre season. If we look at the stats for the league and we have a click through, will we find Wrexham in any of these? We will in the most tackles won again in 3rd. How do we win the ball back so much but just do nothing? It's as if like we don't not have the ball for a long time, but we're still 17th. I don't know. If we look at the squad, boys, this season, the signing of Strand Larsen was a smart one. Signing that Sesko type player. He has scored 15 goals for us in the Premier League. Todd Cantwell on a free as well has got 8 goals for us. Enriquez in that defensive winger role has done well, getting 16 contributions. Buade in defensive midfield looks like he's had a little bit of development as well, which is super important. Of course, we locked him in this season. A very exciting wonder kid in our team. He is going to be a key part of season 4 and season 5, so it's good to see the up arrows. If we look at other competitions, I know we didn't do them last season because we didn't do well at all. We actually got to a Carabao Cup quarter-final against Tottenham Hotspur this season, only losing 3-2. And some of the teams left here as well, West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, you know, it's not your big hitters like City and Liverpool. The final was actually played between Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea do win 3-1. But yeah, I mean, look, we finished 17th in the Premier League this season again. I know it doesn't look too great, but like I said, the points tally is getting better. We've had 10 wins this season. You know, we're beating a lot of the teams around us or the teams we should be beating. We've got 9 draws as well. Some good draws in there. Tottenham, Chelsea, Brighton, Liverpool, Everton. So we're starting to get a little bit better. The goal difference looks much better. And for season 4, we've only got 36 million. But I think we're at a point now where we've got a squad where we can either sell players or we can build around these players now, bring in a few quality players around these players like your Strand Larsens, your Cantwells, your Harwood Bellis, Buadi and DM. And hopefully we can just go on leaps and bounds. Let's see who we bring in season 4. Let's bring some quality into this team now, some Premier League quality. Right, boys, season 4 is upon us. We ain't wasting no time this season, but a player that did leave was Ryan Hardy on a free. He has been with us at Wrexham for the last 4 years. Shout out Ryan Hardy. Shout out Omega Luke and Omega Dad, one of their favourite strikers on the game. We've got that ball knowledge on this channel. But apart from that, let's get straight into these transfers. First player coming in season 4 is Miles Lewis Smelly, as the famous Lee Gunner calls him occasionally. Lewis Skelly comes in. Now, he actually looks really good, I think, and on the game he can only play centre mid and CDM, but he's very technical, his mentals are decent, and I like his physicals. He can play a number of roles in the team. He can be a playmaker, he can be a DM with that 12 tackling, aggression and work rate. He's highly physical, he can get up and down. For £6 million, I think this is quite a fun signing. The next signing we made, though, we are now at the point, like I said, I want to bring in Premier League quality and talent from overseas. We bring in Ian Subabre, who I don't think I've used on this FM, but I do recognise his face. He comes in as a 5-star potential Argentine, plays both wings. I'm very excited to see what he can do for us. Next up, coming in as well, we have the first regen of the rebuild in Vince Garner. This guy is a midfielder who looks like he can pretty much do anything in a creative way. He's got a 5-star potential. He's 18 years old. He only cost us $2 million. It's going to be exciting to see what he can do for us over the next 2 years and how he develops. We also bring in Alfie Dorrington at centre-back from Tottenham. We've signed a lot of English defenders in this rebuild, but I think Alfie Dorrington is the best of the bunch. He's still got bags of potential to go. We sign him from Tottenham, £16 million, very pacey, good in the air. With a bit of development here and there, he could end up looking like a top Premier League centre-back. I'm very excited about Alfie. We also sign Isaacson on a free transfer over from Lazio. Again, a guy who can play on both wings. Just a very all-rounded winger, decent on both feet as well. Excited to see what he can do. But the biggest signing of the window, and when we talk about that quality we wanted to bring in, Sekou Mara is probably the best player at the club now. We bring him in for just over £20 million. He's an amazing striker with great off the ball. He's pacey, he's determined. A lot of 14s and 15s in there. I'm hoping he's going to be the guy this season that scores the goals to lift us up that Premier League table. And if I show you the tactic for this season, boys, we are switching it up this season. We're going with a 4-3-3. A very basic 4-3-3. I didn't want to make the tactic too complicated this season. I think we've now got the players where we don't have to overcomplicate it. Let them go express themselves and see how we can do. If we pick the best 11 for this 4th season in the Premier League, this is what we are looking at. Yilmaz is in the team with Callum Doyle still at that left centre-back. If we look at him now, he's a 3.5-star Premier League centre-back. He's played over 100 games for us now. He is kind of becoming a club legend. We've got Alfie Dorrington going in, Nunes. We've got Lamans in net, of course, who's the current Man United goalkeeper in real life, who did decent last season. We've got Nues in the DM with Buadi playing that DLP. Enriquez now not playing defensive winger, playing in that midfield as a box-to-box. We've got a Saxon, and it will be Subabre on that left as we are locking him in. And we've got Sekou Mara up top. But if I just move my webcam quickly as well, boys, now what you can see is a bench with quality. Mateta, Strand Larsen, Casais, Cantwell. We've got Harwood Bellis, Lewis Skelly, Ethan Laird still here, Broadhead, Fernandez, Twanzebe still at the club, Vince Garner, the regen who will get game time. We have now got a full squad full of quality, so injuries, suspensions, we should be covered. Now, I don't know if this is a glitch, right, but we are still season preview to be 20th in the Premier League. I don't understand how our squad, compared to the likes of Burnley, who have got Jadon Anthony on the wing and Hartman at left back with Chambers, is higher than us. Unless the Premier League in this rebuild is just insanely high quality, and I've been really unlucky with the teams and who they've been signing and the quality of players, we are somehow still 20th again. But look, this season in season 4, we've got to kick on. If we want any chance of the Champions League by the end of season 5, we definitely this season need to be at least getting into that mid-table spots. Them 11th, 10th, 9th, maybe even trying to push to Europe on an optimistic one. But let's see what we can do in season 4. It's going to have to be a miraculous season. It's definitely been the best transfer window. Let's pray for some improvements in the Premier League and not be in a relegation battle. Right, boys, welcome back to season 4. Patience is a virtue. Success is not made overnight, and sometimes it takes 4 seasons. Sometimes it takes that one tactic for everything just to click. Season 4, we are the Carabao Cup winners, and we finish 9th in the Champions League. We finish 9th in the Premier League, not the Champions League. Oh, I've ruined that, haven't I? Just leave that in. Leave it in. But let's start with the first trophy win of the rebuild. Carabao Cup winners in the final to Arsenal of all teams. It is a 3-1 victory in the final. Sekou Mara, the new signing this season, getting 2 goals in the final. Buwadi as well, the wonder kid we brought in, put faith in midfield, also getting a goal. Arsenal only scoring a consolation as well. It's an amazing performance from us. The lack of possession shows it's probably a counter-attacking game. Very well played. If we look to our run to the final as well, semi-final, Bournemouth 6-2. In the quarter-final, we beat Portsmouth on penalties. In the 4th round, we beat Chelsea on penalties. And in the 3rd round, we beat Southampton away 3-0. Sekou Mara got 12 goals in the competition. Amazing display. Also getting knocked out in the quarter-final of the FA Cup by Arsenal is not bad going. We only lost 2-0 to them, but we did beat them in that Carabao Cup final, so we did get one over them. But let's talk about the Premier League this season. If you look at the league positions there as well at the top, you can see we were around mid-table the whole way through. We were very consistent in the Premier League this year, doing very well. 16 wins, 10 draws, and 12 losses. If we look at the stats this season, finally, we have some players making some appearances. Lamon's getting 15 assists in the Premier League. Subabre, the new winger we brought in this season, getting 11 assists from that left wing after we locked him in. He's done very, very well this season. Not a lot of development, but he was an amazing player for us nonetheless. And if we look at the squad for this season, Sekou Mara, our hero in the Premier League and the Cup, getting 30 goals and 5 assists. Strand Larsen getting 11 off the bench. Subabre, getting 25 contributions. Todd Cantwell with 9. Is Saxon, the winger, we got in a free with 15. Enriquez from midfield getting 18 contributions. Lewis Skelly actually played 32 games this season, so it looks like he might have played in that CDM role, and I don't mind it. He's had a lot of good development. If you look at Lewis Skelly, you don't see him look this good on a lot of saves, so I'm actually quite happy that he has played a lot of games. He's had a good season. We've also got Buwadi in that midfield. Again, he is now a decent Premier Division player with still a lot of potential. He's got 80 to 90 million value. He is really growing into a world-class midfielder for us in this Wrexham rebuild. If we look at average ratings as well, we've got Casase, who's been here since season 1, doing well. Lamons, of course, doing well this season with his 15 clean sheets. The squad's just looking better and better. But season 5, we've got 50 million to spend. The whole point of this entire rebuild you have watched today is to try and go from the Championship and get into that Champions League. We've won the Carabao Cup. We will be in the Conference League next season. We have got to try and get some sort of Champions League qualification. It's actually going to be harder now we've got Conference League to play. But can we do it in season 5? We've got to make some good transfers. Let's see what we can do. Right, boys, in Season 5, we have brought in some insane young talent. And a reminder for everyone that watches these rebuilds, all of the tactics and the end of Season 5 save file will be on the Patreon when this video is released. So if you want to use this save file and take on Wrexham from Season 5 and use these wonder kids like you're about to see and the team that I've made and play a big Robbo rebuild for yourself, then check out the Patreon. The link will be in the description. But let's get into Season 5. But before we start Season 5, a great man has left us today. Callum Doyle, 136 appearances for Wrexham, joined as a 21-year-old young English centre-back, left as a noble man. 25 years old, he goes to Leeds for £40 million. That is the type of money we can't turn down at this point in the rebuild when we're trying to get into that Champions League. 40 million for Doyle is great money, but he leaves and we wish him all the best. But let's get into what we spent that money on, and it is regen land, ladies and gentlemen. We have pulled up to Regen Row. The first regen coming in was Marvin Watteau, an 18-year-old French striker who looks insane. He is giving me Cantona vibes. Very good technically, mentally very good, but not as good physically. He's like a deep lying forward, a creative striker. He could develop into a beast, and if you take on this save, I would love to know if you're in my streams or in the YouTube comments how he gets on. Next up, we've got Stephen Balaban at right back, a new right back coming in. I mean, look, again, for a 19-year-old right back. Look at him. He's 6'2". He's both-footed. He looks absolutely insane. And also, boys, another little plug here, but all of these regens are found using the regen filter. Again, that is available on my Patreon. If you want the best scouting methods and the best scouting filters to find these best regens in your rebuilds and in your saves, you've got to use the regen filter, man. It is insane. Another regen we've brought in is Helge Langfield in the attacking midfield role. 16 finishing, decent technical and mentals. This guy is just a finisher. He's got 16 finishing, first touch and composure at 18. Be excited to see how he develops. We've actually brought in a real player now though, boys, in George Cuenca, over from Fulham. A ball-playing defender from Fulham. Spanish left-footed as well. He's going to be great in our team with Alfie Dorrington. A player we've actually spent some money on as well is Cole Parney, a 30-year-old attacking midfielder. Very, very good going forward. He's 6'1". He tries killer balls often. He's got 17 anticipation, good passing and vision. Off the ball's great. A lot of 14s and 15s on this guy. And a couple of free transfers we brought in this season was Arda Güler coming in that attacking midfield. We all know what Güler's about, just pure technical ability. And we managed to bring in as well Valentin Barco, a bit of a failed wonder kid now in real life, but Barco looks very, very good. He can play all up that left-hand side or even in midfield if we need him. And for Season 5, boys, we are just going with the same tactic as Season 4. This tactic worked an absolute treat, getting us a Carabao Cup win and finishing 9th in the Premier League. And with the added quality to our squad, I'm hoping we can go one step further and get to that Champions League. If I pick the best 11 in this final simulation, this is what we are looking at. Mara, Subabre and Güler as the front three. Enriquez, Buardi and Luis Skelly. Ridvan Yilmaz, Cuenca, Dorrington Núñez and Lamens in goal. But like I keep on saying, boys, the development in the bench. Harwood Bellis now, Isaacson, Strand Larson, a few of the regens in Balaban and Wateu are on the bench, Cole Parney. This is a squad that is ready to compete across all 4 competitions. And that is exactly what we are doing for the first time in this rebuild. Premier Division, Conference League, FA and Carabao Cup, Wrexham Season 5. I want to say as well, just before we simulate, thank you to everybody that watches the full of these videos. Obviously, it helps so much on YouTube. You boys that stick until the end, that like, subscribe and comment. So shout out to you boys before Season 5 is simulated. Let's simulate Season 5 and let's pray we need Champions League, man. We've put ourselves in the best position. Look, we've gone from the Championship. We're now in European competition within 4 years. Let's see what we can do. From Season 1, with Callum Doyle, Kiefer Moore, Nathan Broadhead, going through the season, signing players like Sesko on loan, Strand Larson coming in to replace him, playing the defensive wingers, trying out new systems. Can Wrexham in 5 years go from the Championship into the Champions League? The answer is yes, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is yes. This is what we do on this channel. We build teams capable of completing these challenges. It's Wrexham Season 5. It's a Conference League win and it is 5th in the Premier League. In the Premier League this season is where we will start. 19 wins, 10 draws and only 9 losses. How we have played this season is nothing short of a miracle, and what we have to look at is Sen Lamens in net. 16 clean sheets in the Premier League this season, only conceding 28 goals, and that is how we get into the Champions League this season. It is a defensive masterclass from Wrexham. If we look into some of the other stats, Valentin Barco, who we signed on a free, getting 13 assists. The goals and the other things aren't there, the average rating, we're not in there. But if we look at the stats, we had the 6th most goals in the Premier League with 58. But where we were excellent this season is not conceding a lot of goals. That defence of Dorrington, Cuenca and Lamens in net, only conceding 32 in the Premier League. But how about we have a look at our Conference League run as well? In the league phase, we went unbeaten with 6 wins, beating teams like Sparta Prague, Slovan Bratislava, Shamrock Rovers. We made work of the Conference League. Going into the round of 16, we faced Maribor, where we were 4-1 winners. In the quarter-finals, we had to play Basel, which is quite a tricky opponent to be fair, but we did win 5-2. In the semi-final, we then go on to play Maccabi Haifa and beat them 5-0 over 2 legs. And in the final, we have Mönchengladbach and we win 2-0. We don't even concede a goal. And if we look at the game, it is Arda Güler with the 2 goals, that added quality that gets us the win. We did not even let Mönchengladbach, have a shot on target. And again, it just has to be a credit to our defence this season. They played unbelievably. We were knocked out in the FA Cup quarter-final to Arsenal in the Carabao 3rd round by West Ham. But look, in 5 years, we have took Wrexham into that Champions League. We have won a Carabao Cup and we have won a Conference League. We've brought European trophy, domestic trophy and Champions League football to Wrexham. If we look at the squad and the goals this season, Mara's goals did try up a little bit, but what is good to see is that Wateu, off the bench most of the time, did get a lot of goals this season. He looks ready to start for your team if you take on this save. We've got Arda Güler as well, getting 15 goals and 5 assists. We've got Buardi now, who is a 22-year-old midfielder who's looking better every single season, fully developing into either a DLP. You could even play him as a box-to-box with them physicals. He looks insane. But we've just got a squad that's played very well. Barco getting 21 assists. Subabre still in the team. Miles Lewis Skelly playing 49 games again this season. A player I didn't expect to be this good for us, but he's been immense. I think this is just a very successful rebuild. Like I said, we've won the Conference League, we've won that Carabao Cup. The club is valued at over £1 billion now. The reputation's increasing. What a great rebuild. If we go back to this league history and see where we started off, going up into the Premier League through the playoffs, finishing 17th 2 seasons in a row, and then finishing 9th last season, and then this season finishing off with that 5th place finish. But like I said, boys, the challenge is now over to you. If you're looking for a save to do, go check out my Patreon. The save file will be on there for just £2, involved with the tactics, the regen filters that I use to find these amazing wonder kids, and everything you have seen from this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please leave in the comments what rebuilds or experiments you want to see next based off real life. As of recording today, Nottingham Forest have just sacked Nuno Espirito Santo, which I think is a crazy... I can't even fathom what that owner is doing. Sorry, he is just a muppet, isn't he? That Mr. Marinakis, however you say his name. So we might be doing a Nottingham Forest soon. But thank you so much for watching. Champo to Champo complete. From promoted to the Championship into the Champions League. That is the Wrexham story. I'll see you on the next video, boys.